when do you want to start? And I said, I don't know, today? We'll start today. And he goes, all right, today, noon. I go, okay. I gave him the directions, the bodies and motion stuff. He went back, said, I got to go back in and work. Went back in. And then that person was Jimmy Kimmel. So that's how I met Jimmy.
Do you think that there's any possible way in a 2024 world that the Man Show could exist the way you guys did it?
No, I doubt it. But
well, we just had Cindy Crawford in here, and we were watching the trampoline videos before we started. I'm like, holy shit, it's Cindy Crawford. She was on the trampoline.
She may have been in the pilot.
Maybe. I don't, Taylor, where was that? She was on the trampoline though. Might have been the pilot. But it was just, I was like, we were looking because I remembered the trampoline videos. Of course, I'm a young man.
We did a bit with her called like bathroom maintenance tips or something with Cindy Crawford, as I recall.
She was like a handy woman or something in the bathroom?
Yeah. And she kept saying ball cock valve. Which is a real thing. I was a carpenter. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, the Man Show was Jimmy wanted to do a show with me and I wanted to do a show with Jimmy, and people weren't really going to let us do a show that they cast us in. We would need to create the show. And so Jimmy and I both kind of knew that we weren't traditional kind of mainstream. I guess we both knew we weren't really going to work in the system and that people may not cast us in their show. But if we created our own show, then maybe we'd have a shot at working together. And the plan really was, we want to work together. We want to work with the people we want to work with. We want to hire the people we think are funny, and we want to do what we want to do. And you have to give a show a name and you have to give it a format. But if you really just look at all the different bits, the format, it's, people think, oh, it's girls and trampolines and beer and stuff. But it was more like Jimmy marries a monkey. Adam goes to the hardware store and like makes fun of people. Like it wasn't, people think it's sort of like beer and farting and dudes and trampolines and stuff. But most of the bits were just sort of freestanding comedy bits. And it's just stuff we wanted to do.
You are an outspoken person, and there had been a period of years down. I think I saw a clip you did where you talked about pendulum swinging, and I think you were talking about like 80s hair bands or music and how it like went from rock to disco, and then it went from like hair bands to grunge, and how we like kind of go back and forth. How have you thought about or navigated the world of political correctness over these last few years? Because obviously you're known as somebody who speaks their mind.
I always kind of tell people I have a skill, which is I am a carpenter, and if I can't say what I want to say, I may as well just put the bags back on and go back to the job site, because I didn't get into this to sort of govern myself or worry about whose feathers were going to get ruffled. I just said kind of a basic rule. Like if I thought it was funny, I was just going to say it. And people would sort of be like, well, yeah, it's funny, but you can't say that, and I'd go, but if it is funny, I think I have to say it now. I thought of it. I thought it was funny. It made me laugh. I'm also not burdened by being a bad person. And I feel like there's a fair amount of people that aren't great people. And I'm not saying I'm a great person. And what I'm saying is I've never done anything to anybody that would be considered bad or cruel or evil or any of the, meaning I can make jokes about women because I've never put my hands on a woman, and believe me, if there was some Me Too thing to find on me, you would have known about it by now. I've literally done spotless record with women, I've never, all the groups, whatever, who I've made fun of, ethnicities, whatever they call me, racist, misogynist, homophobic. It's like, I've never harmed another group, women. My daughter lives a much better life than I do. Like there is, so
Well,
I
there's a
get to
segment
do
of people
things.
these days that say the words are harmful, right?
Yeah, but see, for me, if I had some sort of skeletons in my past that I was worried about, or even if I was like, maybe I don't like gay people very much, or I don't like black people or whatever, I would kind of zip it. I'd be like, oh, you don't want to be talking about this stuff because they may be on to you. So I'm completely unburdened because I really have never done any group wrong and there's no history of it. And it's nothing is documented. I've never done anything to anyone. So that kind of frees you up a little bit. I'm always kind of feeling like, well, if you're Ellen, you got to dance at the beginning of the show because you got to get people to think you're different than what you are. You know what I mean? I'm not that nice because I don't care because I'm not trying to hide. Think about the two. Go back and watch Bill Cosby in the beginning of his show doing the
gosh.
dance.
There's like an overcompensation.
I'm trying to work this joke out
Okay.
where I go, if you watch the beginning of the Cosby show, he's not just dancing. He's doing like crazy, silly stuff. I said, if somebody said, we got a camera, no microphone, you got 5 seconds to prove to everyone you're not a rapist, you would immediately start dancing just like Bill Cosby. You would do that move. Like you wouldn't go, what do you want from me? Or F you or whatever. You'd go, ooh, silly dance. Because that's exactly what that dance is.
What do you think about all this shit that's come out about all these people in Hollywood? Is this stuff that people know behind the scenes, or is this stuff where you were shocked? Or is it a bit of both?
People will kind of tell you who's like, I would have agents and William Morris guys and they go, oh, Bill Cosby's a douchebag, man. That guy's such a douche or whatever. Or people that used to work for Ellen. I'd go like, what was it like working for Ellen? I signed an NDA, but ugh. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And you just go, all right, I kind of get it. As far as like the Harvey Weinstein stuff and all that, I've never been on the inside of Hollywood. I've always been, I didn't go to the parties and I didn't rub elbows with the people. I knew some celebrities that were like genuinely friendly people and maybe my girlfriend said to me last night, we were watching, I think it was a Paul Feig movie and she goes, and Paul's a nice guy and I know him a little bit. And she goes, you got to start schmoozing. And I'm like, why? And she goes, you should be in these, movies or whatever. And I was like, I don't really, I'm just not a schmoozer. I don't know how to do it. There are guys I know like Jay Leno, but it's mostly car related
Car stuff, yeah.
And there's like a little bit, but I really don't know what's going on in Hollywood. I never did. I always just worked and then went straight home and started monkeying with some car related thing.
Do you find that strange? And like, not to bring Jimmy up too much, but you guys kind of went two different paths. He went so Hollywood, you kind of went the other way. Was that something apparent to you in the relationship, like that he kind of wanted to pursue that career and you wanted to pursue your career?
Jimmy was always, and I mean, I don't want to say going Hollywood like it's a pejorative,
Sure.
but
you know what I mean? Like he went right into entertainment.
He's always been very ambitious and very much of a churner and a generator. And he's always a kind of what's next and kind of bigger and better. And I've always been like, I kind of want to do what I want to do version. And sort of the thing is sort of like, I always liked doing radio, so I stayed in radio for a long time, and I was doing TV, maybe multiple. Yeah, I was doing multiple TV shows and getting paid enough to not do radio, but I wanted to do radio. I liked radio. My sort of idea of a nice job is just sitting in a windowless room, just bloviating into a microphone about everything all day, not cameras and makeup and hair and like when you do a